Jenny in Ginza, directed by Joji Matsuoka, is an upcoming Japanese romance comedy film. Was released on July 2, 2021. Was extended after filming Lost Word of Jenny, Tokyo Tower. Was directed by Kazuya Shiraishi. Japanese illustrator, Lily Frankie as Jerry the Magical Hero was extended film, from released in 2021. Also people search such as Kotaro Yoshida, Natsuki Kawamura, Joe Dajiri, Pierre Taki, Yayako Uchida, Masami Nagasaya, Masaharu Fukuyama, Elazai Ito and Koru Kobayashi. With crews such as Hirakazu Kurita, Hitoshi Ono, Shinya Tsukamoto and Toshihiko Takamizuya. Also featuring actors such as Milorina, Eri Fukatsu, Kiichi Make, Sasuke Komatsu, Shimyun Kyung, Yukiko Kabe, Jun Murakami, Tetsuji Tamayama, Goto Utero, Maya Mahori, a girl member of Najizuka 46. Tokyo Imato and Kenichi Endo. Barbie doll failed in its introduction to Japan in the 1960s, but the long-time American favorite has been a hot item in the $80s. And that success has produced a bitter legal battle between Japan's two biggest toymakers, which are in court trading charges of unfair competition and breach of faith. Takara Limited, Japan's number 2 toy manufacturer, is suing a joint venture between Mattel, Barbie's American maker, and the Japanese toymaker Bandai Company Limited. Takara had sold Barbie dolls, altered to Japanese children's taste, under license from Mattel from 1982. But Mattel abruptly terminated that agreement in January, because it felt Takara was not trying hard enough to sell other Mattel toys, and was leaking Mattel secrets to another American toymaker. Now Takara claims Mattel and arch-rival Bandai cloned their new Barbie doll from the Barbie that Takara spent 19 months and 100 million yen, about $590,000, developing. Bandai, Japan's top toymaker, began marketing the Barbie last month through the joint venture, ABA Corporation. It has exactly the same thing as our old Barbie, so we sued under the Unfair Competition Prevention Law, says spokesman Shusuke Kubota of Takara, which changed the name from Barbie to Jenny. Not so, says Fred Tang, managing director for Mattel Asia Limited. We promised Takara to make a different doll, and we did, he said in an interview. If you ask a young girl if they read different, she will say yes. If you ask her if they read similar, she will say yes. There is a kind of similarity, 2 arms, 2 legs. After unsuccessful attempts by Mattel in Japan in the 1960s to market its American Barbie, of which 1 million a week now are sold worldwide, Takara developed a Barbie that appealed to Japanese children, with a rounder face, huge eyes and small lips. Miyuki Ishii, a toy sales clerk at Ginza's Matsuzaka department store, said, "I can't tell the difference. Jenny seems to be selling better, but not many people seem to know there is a new Barbie." Takara and Mattel also are sparring over the dolls. Ad campaigns. We especially object to the ad, "Barbie has come back from America?" Kubota says. They make it sound as if our Barbie wasn't the real one. Takara Barbie was altered to better appeal to Japanese preferences, with a shorter height, large rounded manga-style eyes and a closed mouth. The doll's physical figure is more natural than the Western Barbie's exaggerated figure. Like her Western counterpart, Jenny wears a large variety of outfits, which often include street fashion, school uniforms, kimonos, and other uniquely Japanese costumes, such as bullet train stewardess Jenny. Today the Jenny doll is a sentimental favorite doll in Japan. Takara Barbie differs from a Western Barbie. Takara Barbie was altered to better appeal to Japanese preferences, with a shorter height, large rounded manga-style eyes and a closed mouth. The doll's physical figure is more natural than the Western Barbie's exaggerated figure. Like her Western counterpart, Jenny wears a large variety of outfits, which often include street fashion, school uniforms, kimono, and other uniquely Japanese costumes, such as bullet train stewardess Jenny. Today the Jenny doll is a sentimental favorite doll in Japan, but she is much less popular than Rika-chan, Japan's market leader fashion doll. Prior to 1986, the doll was known as Takara Barbie. In 1986 Takara ended their licensing agreement with Mattel, and, as they owned the rights over the Takara Barbie's design, came up with a new name for the doll. The explanation given for the name change was that Jenny was the name of a character Barbie portrayed in a play, also titled Jenny. The play was a success and Barbie had become so associated with her character's name that she decided to change it to Jenny. Jenny's boyfriend was renamed from Takara Ken to Jeff. Takara sold Barbie dolls worth 5.6 billion yen, about $33 million, last year out total sales of 51 billion yen, or $300 million, paying Mattel about 300 million yen, or $1.8 million, in royalties, Kubota says. Takara sold 6 million of the dolls. Things turned sour with Takara's 1984 tube with Hasbro, the top US toy maker, to market the successful Transformer robot toy series in the United States. Mattel worried that Takara could leak Mattel secrets to Hasbro, its chief rival. Mattel approached Takara several times from 1983 to '85 to form a joint venture company to sell Barbies, but each time Takara refused. Tang said Takara probably cared less about the 4.5 billion yen $26 million worth of Barbies it sold in 1984 than the 28 billion yen $165 million worth of Transformers it sold to Hasbro the same year. Kubota insists that Mattel toys didn't succeed in Japan. Takara tried Masters of the Universe, Birdie Bird, Helicopter, Pop-Up Pictures, he says. But they just didn't sell? Mattel says Takara didn't try. Figures such as Masters of the Universe, He-Man, need stories on television to sell, but Takara never tried to get it on TV. Tang said. In January, Mattel abruptly ended its agreement with Takara and said it would sell a new Barbie in Japan. Takara's lawsuit seeks to halt MABA's Barbie production. Tang, calling the suit a lot of nonsense, notes that the new Barbie is 1 centimeter taller and twists and bends at the waist. Miyuki Ishii, a toy sales clerk at Ginza's Matsuzaka department store, said, "I can't tell the difference. Jenny seems to be selling better, but not many people seem to know there's a new Barbie." Takara and Mattel also are sparring over the dolls. Ad campaigns. We especially object to the ad, "Barbie has come back from America?" Kubota says. They make it sound as if our Barbie wasn't the real one. Takara Barbie was altered to better appeal to Japanese preferences, with a shorter height, large rounded manga-style eyes and a closed mouth. The doll's physical figure is more natural than the Western Barbie's exaggerated figure. Like her Western counterpart, Jenny wears a large variety of outfits, which often include street fashion, school uniforms, kimonos, and other uniquely Japanese costumes, such as bullet train stewardess Jenny. Today the Jenny doll is a sentimental favorite doll in Japan. Takara Barbie differs from a Western Barbie. Takara Barbie was altered to better appeal to Japanese preferences, with a shorter height, large rounded manga-style eyes and a closed mouth. The doll's physical figure is more natural than the Western Barbie's exaggerated figure. Like her Western counterpart, Jenny wears a large variety of outfits, which often include street fashion, school uniforms, kimono, and other uniquely Japanese costumes, such as bullet train stewardess Jenny. Today the Jenny doll is a sentimental favorite doll in Japan, but she is much less popular than Rika-chan, Japan's market leader fashion doll. Prior to 1986, the doll was known as Takara Barbie. In 1986, Takara ended their licensing agreement with Mattel, and, as they owned the rights over the Takara Barbie's design, came up with a new name for the doll. The explanation given for the name change was that Jenny was the name of a character Barbie portrayed in a play, also titled Jenny. The play was a success and Barbie had become so associated with her character's name that she decided to change it to Jenny. Jenny's boyfriend was renamed from Takara Ken to Jeff. Tokyo, Japan, August 30, 2010, Tommy Company, Limited, President, Kantaro Tomiyama, announces a renewal of the Jenny line of fashion dolls and accessories. From September 16, 2010, the renewed line will launch at toy retailers nationwide. This marks the first time in 10 years for Jenny's face to get a refresh, and in keeping with the latest fashion trend, her eyes will get enhanced eye power, along with other subtle changes. Under the theme of complete coordination, the line will get a new product lineup, new package design, and even a completely new Jenny logo. Since Jenny's introduction in 1986, the line has reflected the fashions of the times. The renewed line, again setting Jenny as a fashion model, introduces the theme of complete coordination. The renewed Jenny, along with 4 friends, introduces 5 different fashion styles to suit a wide variety of tastes, including cool style and princess style. As always, the line features fashions with an exceptionally high level of quality and detail. In the works are doll box sets with apparel and accessories included, and other apparel and accessory sets including tops, bottoms and accessories, bags, shoes, etc., sold separately, for complete fun in fashion coordination. The new line-up includes the new Exchange Jenny, featuring multiple hair extensions for changing hairstyles SRP by 3,990, including 5% Japan consumption tax. 4 other friends of Jenny doll sets, Cheyenne, Yano, Jessica and Mireille, each including a variety of hair and makeup accessories, and affordable apparel and accessory items called Warbox items, with the first 35 items to be launched in September and 25 more items in November. SRP by 630, including tax. In all, 77 new products are planned, and Tommy is targeting by 1 billion in sales for the Jenny line over the next 3 years. The latest refresh for Jenny reflects the eye power fashion trend, emphasizing glamorous makeup and fashion for the eyes, so Jenny's eyes have been made slightly larger and the eyelashes given more volume. The new Jenny logo and packaging has also been given a bold black and pink motif for a lovely and cool image. 27 cm Jenny dolls are designed to fit the Jenny character persona as a fashion model, with a tall and slender shape and beautiful legs which look good in any type of fashion. Young girls who can't yet wear high fashion clothes themselves can immerse themselves in the pretend world of a professional stylists by dressing up Jenny in all the fashionable styles they can imagine and dream about for themselves. This type of play is an invaluable facet of learning for young girls, which teaches them about aesthetics and fashion, while also expanding their imaginations. The Jenny line has its roots in pre-merger Takara's Barbie line, which was sold under license from Mattel. Takara created its own version Barbie doll for the Japanese line with a look and shape more appealing to Japanese girls. In 1986, when the contract with Mattel ended, Takara relaunched the line, changing the name from Barbie to Jenny, and the current line was born. The original Jenny story set the Jenny character as a 17-year-old fashion model from Los Angeles, with many friends included in the line. Over time, the themes and fashions of the line have changed to reflect the changes in the real world. For young girls, Jenny represents a fashionable, mature young woman to whom they can aspire. Jenny has also been admired for its excellent quality by parents as well as doll collectors around the world, and many renowned designer brands have also collaborated in the Jenny line. B stands for Pretty Bunny, and the Pretty Bunny stores were located in Tokyo, Japan. They sold the B.P. store Barbie dolls who were exclusively made for the Japanese market from 1986 to 1988. There were a very limited number of these dolls sent to the United States to a few select specialty stores. The B.P. stores were only open for a year and a half from July 1986 to February 1988. In 1986, after Mattel ended its licensing agreement with Takara Company, a company Mattel teamed up with in 1982 to develop a fashion doll for the Japanese market. They immediately entered into an agreement with Bandai Company Limited of Japan. They named their company Mada, which is the first two letters of each company's name. Bandai was founded in 1950 and is now the third largest toy manufacturer in the world. Mattel and Hasbro are numbers 1 and 2. Mr. Kamiya, an employee of Bandai, came up with the idea of these reproduction dolls. He wanted them to have the same high-quality standards as the early Barbie dolls. The faces of the B.P. store Barbie dolls were made using two of the vintage face molds from the 1960s. They were the 1961 face mold from the ponytail Barbie and the face mold from the 1967 twist and turn Barbie. The 1961 face came with either a bubble cut or ponytail hairstyle. The twist and turn face was available with a ponytail or straight hair. Both styles had blonde, red, black, or brown hair. The 1961 face mold only came with blue eyes. The 1967 face mold had a choice of brown, blue, or green eyes. Some of the dolls had rooted eyelashes as well. The clothes were recreations of the early Barbie era, the 900 and 1600 series fashions. Many of the same patterns were used, such as Lunch in the Terrace, Bride's Dream, and of course Barbie in Japan, who wore the traditional kimono. The designs used different fabrics than those used in the 1960s. Rather than designing special fabrics for these dolls, the designers went out and purchased small amounts of fabric that would be suitable and the correct scale for these high-quality outfits. Most outfits were one-of-a-kind designs that were produced in a limited supply of 40, and are highly desirable to collectors. There were also some prototypes available. Attention to detail was extremely important. These Barbie dolls came in pink boxes with the Barbie logo written in the middle of it. Also included in the box were pink tissue paper and a pedestal Barbie stand similar to the original black pedestal Barbie stand. In the bottom of the stand it reads, Mada Corporation 1986 made in Japan. Later stands have the 1988 date. Little or big girls had such fun creating the perfect doll. They could go into the store and place an order for their doll. They chose the face mold, hairstyle, and eye and hair color. They also picked out the ensemble of clothing they wanted in their doll. This could be done by mail order as well. The dolls turned out not to be as popular as hoped. During that time period, customers didn't want reproductions, they wanted the originals.
ねえ、すごい近い。どうもどうも。改めて、はい、ご自身でよろしいですか？池田エライザです。今日はありがとうございます。短い時間ですけど、みんなで楽しんでいただけいただけたらいいなと思います。よろしくお願いします。
原作の方を読ませてもらったんですよね。で、台本読んだ時にやっぱり原作から入ってたからガラッと変わってて、やっぱり戸惑いは最初ありましたね。
やっぱりここ 1,2 年というか、もうちょっと経つのかな、時代劇が不振と言われていて、この話をいただいた時に台本を読んでったら、こんなにストレートな人間の心というもの、日本人の心というものだけを今のこの時代に作ろうと思うんだっていう。
やっぱ魔女の宅急便っていうのって誰もが結構知っていて、そんな映画ってあんまり出たことないなと思ったのが一つと、あとすごい楽しめそうだなと思ったんですよね。なのですごい楽しんでできるかもしれない。
内田也哉子と申します。
自分にしかできないものを作りたいというか、自分にしか、自分だからこそできることもあるだろうし、オリジナリティも含めて、やっぱ自分にしか作れないものを作りたいじゃないですか。そう考えた時に例えば今の日本映画、世界の映画も含めてものすごくテンポ早くカットを刻んでスピード感を出してお客さんを飽きさせないようにいろんな話もうねらせて飽きさせないっていうことが今の映画のなくてはならないベースにあると思うんですけど、そこから抗いたかったんですよ。
作品のファンの方からもう受け入れてもらえる作品にしなくちゃいけないなっていうプレッシャーはありますけど、日本のまたちょっと笑いに変えてこの50回目のファーストキス新しく生まれ変わるかと思うととても楽しみなところも多いので、楽しく見てて面白いものを作ってくれたかなと思います。
よくね、その役に引っ張られるかっていうことですよね。幸いそれはなかったんですよね。空き時間もリリーさんと一緒に動物の森をずっとやってましたし。
こんにちは、川村那月です。ただいますべての撮影が終わりました。本当に楽しい2日間で1日半ぐらいの時間だったんですけど、たっぷりといい写真が撮れたと思います。皆さんにお届けできる日を私も楽しみにしてます。待っててください。バイバーイ。
皆さんこんにちは、吉田鋼太郎です。
そうですよね。まだ見てないんですよね。
そうです、これからです。はい、
そうだ。はい、できればですね、見た後にまた語らいたいんですけど、今日変わりますけど。
いや。
もう本当に感想を早く聞きたいです。ご覧になっていただいてどういう思いが皆様の胸に芽生えるのかというですね。
シンガーソングライターの一期一会を演じます深津絵里です。
受験も世界史を専攻してまして、すごく世界史を学ぶことが好きだったんですから、この話いただいてすごく嬉しかったんですけれども、見させていただいて何本か見させていただいて、本当に素晴らしい映像美と、それともうストーリーの展開のしていくところとかも素晴らしかったですし、こっちが声を入れるのも忘れてしまうぐらい楽しませていただきました。
本当役者っていうのはさ、カメラ向いてるとここはこういう段取りでやってくれとかって言われるとその気になって笑うタイミングがいろいろ考えたんですけども、完成したものを見たら確かにマスターが洗濯物を干すというシーンはあるんですけども、同時にカメラがずーっと引いていくと、そのマスターの立派でもないアパートから引いていくと西新宿の高層ビル街が見えるという、そういうシーンなんですよね。なんでマスターの日常の点描の一つではあるんですけども、なんかずっと 黒澤明監督の映画みたいに天気待ちをずっとやらされて、で1回目はそれで撮り直し、2回目もなかなかカメラが回らなかった。
こんにちは。真夏の夜の夢に時たまご役で出演させていただきます北野キーです。
1ヶ月でこんなにたくさんのこととかたくさんの経験ができるんだってことにびっくり。
いや動きはいいですよね。やっぱり学校で学んでるんでしょ、いろいろ映画のノウハウとかハウトゥー。いや動きがすごく、でも動きのその初期衝動ってやっぱり誠実さとかじゃないですか。なんか決まりきったことをやろうっていうよりかは、なんか次のシーンに行くために早く動かなきゃとか、そのピュアさがすごく感じるんで、なかなかね、ずっと仕事にこれがなっちゃうとそういうの忘れがちじゃないですか。いや、みんなその塊ですごくいい刺激ですよ。
東京リリーをご覧の皆さん、はじめまして、白宮奈々です。
皆さんこんにちは。はじめまして川辺由紀子です。
でもそういうことでいろいろこうちょっと違う感想みたいのも持てたんで、逆に商品のことをCM でやるよりもうちょっと深く学べたんでよかったかなと思います。
オリコンスタイルの皆様こんにちは、江本時生です。
でもメンバーもそうですし、ナナさんの存在もすごい大きくて、素直に乃木坂に入ってよかったなっていうのを今思えてるので。
タレントデータバンクをご覧の皆さんこんにちは、ゆうたろうです。
昔あったファッション誌のモデルとしてやったお仕事ですかね。もう高校卒業してすぐだったんで着せられてる感が溢れてたというか。
皆さんこんにちは、秘密の花園に大抜役で出演します田口智朗です。
大家好，我是 Special 凤田，请多多支持 Special 还有差女生，拜拜。
毎回やっぱりいいのかなっていう、大丈夫かなこの声でとかすごい思うんですけど、ある程度きっとこの声でこう想像していただいて何かをこう生み出そうとしてくださってるのであれば、少しでも貢献できたらいいなと思って、緊張しつついつも引き受けさせていただいてる感じですかね。
ドラムボーカリスト宍戸閣下です。
こんにちは、カモメにシャムライ役で出演する渡辺哲です。
ここ特別なレベルですよ。ここは特区だから大変だから、これは真似しない方がいいと。
ありがとうございました。もう本当にもうはい。そうですね。もう本当にこう撮影するのにあたってすごいたくさんの方が関わってくださってるので、やっぱりすごいなと思って、エキストラの方、社員の方もたくさんだったので、最初入ってきた時はちょっと圧倒される感じがしました。
皆さんこんにちは。長谷川リリ子23歳です。普段はモデルなどの活動をしています。よくシンデレラバストモデルなんて言われちゃったりしています。
今もやっぱ嬉しいし、実際本当に授賞式っていう自分が立ってる立場なんやっていうことに驚いてますね。
はい、石垣島に来てます。冷たいです、海。ほい、朝の海なのでちょっと冷たい。みんな入ってるよ朝の海なのですごい冷たいですいい天気で天候に恵まれて素敵な撮影したいと思います。すごい眩しいじゃあね
お話いただいた時に犯人役が僕とピエール瀧だっていうので考えてるっていうのを聞いた時に、これはこの監督はふざけてるのかなってまず思うし、何があっても監督のもうせいではあるなとは思ったんですけど、これで俺らで大丈夫なのかなって思いながらも、なんとか監督が形にしていただいたというかですね。
Jenny is a 10.5-inch fashion doll produced by Japanese toy company now known as Takara Tomy since 1982. The doll was known as Takara Barbie, and in 1986 the doll was renamed Jenny, after Takara ended their licensing agreement with Mattel.
ジェニーのファッションテーマはクール。 LA のファッションをベースにパンチのある要素を足してかっこよくまとめたスタイル。ヘアメイクはエクステをつけたクールなロングヘア。クールスタイルジェニー。
Nominees for favorite male soul R&B artists are
Babyface, Kevin Campbell, and the artist formerly known as Prince.
and the winner of this is
Man, that is sealed.
Babyface.
Well, I don't believe it. This is a pleasant, very pleasant surprise. I didn't expect this. This has been a great year for me, and I can just say God's been looking out for me, and I want to say thank you to God first of all, and I want to say thank you to my beautiful wife Tracy for the support there. I'm blinking. And let me say thank you to all the fans and everybody that's voted for me. I love you all. Thank you.
In February 9, 1991, James Cleveland died in Culver City, California. He was 59. Some reports list the cause of death as congestive heart failure, stating that the singer had fallen into a coma shortly before his death. He is interred at Inglewood Park Cemetery in Inglewood, California. White was overweight for most of his adult life and suffered from related health problems. In October 1995, White was admitted to a hospital as a result of high blood pressure. In August 1999, White was forced to cancel a month's worth of tour dates owing to exhaustion, high blood pressure and a hectic schedule. In September 2002, White was hospitalized with kidney failure attributed to chronic diabetes mellitus and high blood pressure. While undergoing dialysis and awaiting a kidney transplant in May 2003, White suffered a severe stroke, which forced him to retire from public life. In July 4, 2003, White died at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 58. His remains were cremated, and the ashes were scattered in the ocean off the Californian coast. Tisdale died in May 15, 2009, at St. John Medical Center in Tulsa, where his wife had taken him when he had trouble breathing. She later confirmed that he died after his esophagus ruptured following radiation treatments for his cancer. Tisdale's agent described his death as a great shock and noted that Tisdale had been planning to go into the recording studio the following week for a project with jazz guitarist Norman Brown. In 2003, Charles had successful hip replacement surgery and was planning to go back on tour until he began suffering from other ailments. He died at his home in Beverly Hills, California of complications resulting from liver failure, in June 10, 2004, at the age of 73. His funeral took place on June 18, 2004, at the First African Methodist Episcopal Church of Los Angeles, with numerous musical figures in attendance. B.B. King, Glenn Campbell, Stevie Wonder and Wynton Marsalis each played a tribute at the funeral. He was interred in the Inglewood Park Cemetery. King died at the age of 89 in Las Vegas, Nevada, in May 14, 2015. The remaining 8 shows of his 2014 tour were cancelled because of health problems caused by complications from high blood pressure and diabetes. King died in his sleep on May 14, 2015, at the age of 89, from vascular dementia caused by a series of small strokes, as a consequence of his type 2 diabetes. 2 of his daughters alleged that King was deliberately poisoned by 2 associates trying to induce diabetic shock. However, an autopsy showed no evidence of poisoning. Campbell died in Nashville, Tennessee, in August 8, 2017, at the age of 81. Vandross suffered from diabetes and hypertension. In April 16, 2003, Vandross suffered a severe stroke at his home in New York City and was in a coma for nearly 2 months. The stroke affected his ability to speak and sing, and required him to use a wheelchair. Vandross died in July 1, 2005, at the JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey, at the age of 54 of a heart attack. The factors of Super Famicom in Dragon Ball Z hyperdimension, due to hypertension of Majin Vegeta. He is a Son Goku and Vegeta will transform, simply called Super Vegeta, and Vandross died from heart failure in 2005. In November 10, 2006, Gerald Levert was found dead in his bed at his Cleveland, Ohio, home, when his cousin tried to wake him. Initial reports stated that Levert had died of an apparent heart attack. In June 25, 2009, less than 3 weeks before the first This Is It show was due to begin in London, with all concerts sold out, Jackson died from cardiac arrest. In August 13, 2018, Franklin was reported to be gravely ill at her home in Riverfront Towers, Detroit. She was under hospice care and surrounded by friends and family. Stevie Wonder, Jesse Jackson and ex-husband Quinn Turman visited her on her deathbed. Franklin died at her home on August 16, 2018, aged 76, without a will. The cause of death was a malignant pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor, which is distinct from the most common form of pancreatic cancer. Numerous celebrities in the entertainment industry and politicians paid tribute to Franklin, including former U.S. President Barack Obama, who said she helped define the American experience. Civil rights activist and Minister Al Sharpton called her a civil rights and humanitarian icon. Ingram died of brain cancer in January 29, 2019 at the age of 66. Leverett became ill while incarcerated in the Cuyahoga County Correctional Facility, prior to his transfer to a state prison, reporting high blood pressure and hallucinations. He died 6 days after being admitted to the jail, in March 30th. The Cuyahoga County coroner ruled in May that his death was caused by complications from sarcoidosis. The official coroner's report also noted contributing factors of high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and withdrawal from Xanax. He was 39 years old. In 2010, his widow was awarded $4 million as a result of a lawsuit filed against Cuyahoga County. Carter died at the age of 95 in Los Angeles at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center on July 12, 2003 from complications of bronchitis. Bryant died at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles on August 25, 2019, after suffering a heart attack at home. At the time of her death, she had 9 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren. In February 8, 2017, after being hospitalized for exhaustion in Los Angeles, Jarreau canceled his remaining 2017 tour dates. In that date, the Montreux Jazz Academy, part of the Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland, announced that Jarreau would not return as a mentor to 10 young artists, as he had done in 2015. In February 12, 2017, Jarreau died of respiratory failure, at the age of 76, just 2 days after announcing his retirement, and 1 month before his 77th birthday. The first Tokusatsu TV series from the Japanese series Kairai, Sentai Zaya Ranger by Toei Company and TV Asahi, and American series Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by Ames Saban. Parker died in November 18, 1971, at age 39, in Blue Island, Illinois, during surgery for a brain tumor. His next album was released by United Artists Records in 1972, titled I Tell Stories Sad and True, I Sing the Blues and Play Harmonica Too. It is very funky. Reviewing it in Christgau's Record Guide, Rock Albums of the 70s, 1981, Robert Christgau said, once a big man in the blues circuit, Parker was turning into the forgotten male streeter by the time he died, and this is a respectful farewell, never as penetrating as me or Bobby. Parker smooths his way over the arrangements with the calm of a man who was mellow, before the concept existed, at least in its present deracinated form. Highlight, the sad, true story that goes with funny how time slips away. Muddy Waters died in his sleep from heart failure, at his home in Westmont, Illinois, in April 30, 1983, from cancer-related complications. He was taken from his Westmont home, which he lived in for the last decade of his life, to Good Samaritan Hospital in Downers Grove, Illinois, where he was pronounced dead aged 70. His funeral was held in May 4, 1983. Throngs of blues musicians and fans attended his funeral at Ristvale Cemetery in Alsip, Illinois. He is buried next to his wife, Geneva. In Christmas Day 2006, Brown died at approximately 1:45 a.m. on Eastern, at age 73, from congestive heart failure, resulting from complications of pneumonia. Bobby was at his bedside and later reported that Brown stuttered, "I'm going away tonight," then took 3 long, quiet breaths and fell asleep before dying. Cotton died of pneumonia on March 16, 2017, at the age of 81, at a medical center in Austin, Texas. Armstrong died of a heart attack in his sleep on July 6, 1971, a month before his 70th birthday. A longtime resident of Englewood, New Jersey, Gillespie died of pancreatic cancer in January 6, 1993, at the age of 75 and was buried in Flushing Cemetery, Queens, New York City. Mike Longo delivered a eulogy at his funeral. Longo died in Manhattan on March 23, 2020, 3 days after his 83rd birthday, from complications of coronavirus disease 2019, the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown and quarantine until the end of 2021. 6 weeks after filming finished, Gordon died at the age of 74 from a heart attack at his apartment in Rego Park, Queens on July 11, 2002. Freddie Cole died in June 27, 2020, aged 88. He was remembered by notable jazz artists in an article in Arts Atlanta. Fontana died October 9, 2003, in Las Vegas, Nevada, at age of 75 after suffering from Alzheimer's disease. Allman died at his home in Richmond Hill, Georgia, in May 27, 2017, due to complications from liver cancer at the age of 69. Brown died of congestive heart failure in 1999 in Oakland, California, and was interred at Inglewood Park Cemetery, in Inglewood, California. King died of a heart attack on December 21, 1992, in his Memphis home. His final concert had been in Los Angeles 2 days earlier. He was given a funeral procession with the Memphis horns playing when the Saints Go Marching In and was buried in Paradise Gardens Cemetery in Edmondson, Arkansas, near his childhood home. Count Basie died of pancreatic cancer in Hollywood, Florida on April 26, 1984 at the age of 79. At 6:50 a.m. Pacific in January 23, 2005, Carson died at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles of respiratory failure arising from emphysema. Bobby Berg died in September 12, 2007, of cancer. He was 73 years old. Chess died at his home in Tucson, Arizona, at the age of 95. At the age of 60, Buddy Miles died in February 26, 2008, at his home in Austin, Texas, with his family by his side. According to his website, he died of congestive heart disease. Miles was cremated, and there was no funeral. Melvin Edmonds died in May 18, 2019, at the age of 65. Jason left the group shortly thereafter. In December 12, 2011, Gerard Heard was found dead at his hanged himself after attempted suicide by hanging. After her death of Josephine Heard suffering from a congestive heart failure at the age of 69. After his death, Gerard Heard died at his home. He attempted suicide by hanging at the age of 31. At the JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey. Josephine Heard died in her sleep of congestive heart failure in Edison, New Jersey at JFK Medical Center on December 10, 2011. At the age of 69. Before his death, Gerard died at the hanging himself from attempted suicide in December 12. The Brooklyn police officers after her death of Josephine was diagnosed of heart failure, and his brother hanged himself in New York City Police District by the politician's tribute of Gerard Heard after suicide at his home. James died at the JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey in February 29, 2008 in leap year's day at the diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney failure and hemorrhoids. Mike Jacob died of the disease on December 14, 2008 at the age of 68, at Southern Hills Hospital and Medical Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. In 2010 entertaining tour were cancelled because of health problems caused complications of certifications in kidney disease and high blood pressure. Roy Vincent's health deteriorated in his 48 years after cause of appendicitis disease, liver disease, broken bones and hip replacement surgery. Vincent died at age 71 on April 29, 2010, at Boulder City Hospital in Nevada. On May 21, 2006, Walker died in a road accident when the van he was driving back to Nashville after a performance in Foley, Alabama, veered off Interstate 65 in Fort Deposit and overturned. His wife Betty, bassist Charles Lilly Jr., son of Everett Lilly of the Lilly Brothers, and guitarist Daniel Patton were also killed in the 12:40 a.m. Central crash. The Walkers, Lilly, and Patton died instantly. Walker's grandson, Joshua Brooks, survived with serious injuries. Walker was interred in Spring Hill Cemetery in Nashville. The second benefit, the Joe Dyle Benefit and Appreciation Day, in June 9, 1985, 2 days before Joe died, was organized by the Boston Bluegrass Union, the now-defunct North River Bluegrass Association, Kathy and Ted Howland and Linda Fitzpatrick, and many volunteers. A full day and early evening of jams, workshops and concerts drew many familiar names and a large crowd. Among the performers were the duo of Tony Rice and Jimmy Gaudreau, making a surprise appearance, John Lincoln Wright, Bill Keith, Trevor Hollow, White Mountain Bluegrass, Joe's brother Paul Valiant, singing with Trevor Hollow, and more. Tony Rice died at his home in Reidsville, North Carolina on December 25, 2020. He died while making his coffee, according to a statement from longtime friend and collaborator Ricky Skaggs. 2 days later, in February 11, Houston was found unconscious in Suite 434 at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, submerged in the bathtub. Beverly Hills paramedics arrived at approximately 3:30 p.m., found Houston unresponsive, and performed CPR. Houston was pronounced dead at 3:55 p.m. Pacific. The cause of death was not immediately known. Local police said there were no obvious signs of criminal intent. In the weeks leading up to his death, Turner became reclusive. In December 10, 2007, he told his assistant Felina Rasiel that he believed he was dying and would not live until Christmas. As he predicted, Turner died 2 days later, in December 12, at the age of 76, at his home in San Marcos, California. He was found dead by his former wife Ann Thomas. Rasiel was also in the house and administered CPR. Turner was pronounced dead at 11:38 a.m. Johnson died in August 16, 1938, at the age of 27, near Greenwood, Mississippi, of unknown causes. His death was not reported publicly. He merely disappeared from the historical record, and it was not until almost 30 years later, when Gail Dean Wardlow, a Mississippi-based musicologist researching Johnson's life, found his death certificate, which listed only the date and location, with no official cause of death. No formal autopsy was done, as a dead black man found by the side of the road near a farm. A pro forma examination was done to file the death certificate, and no immediate cause of death was determined. It is likely he had congenital syphilis, and it was suspected later by medical professionals that may have been a contributing factor in his death. However, 30 years of local legend and oral tradition had, like the rest of his life story, built a legend which has filled in gaps in the scant historical record. Jordan died of a heart attack in February 4, 1975, in Los Angeles. He is buried at Mount Olive Cemetery in St. Louis, Missouri, the hometown of his wife Martha. In September 12, 2020, Wright died suddenly, at age 75, after suffering a heart attack at a hospital in Encino, California. She suffered from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Pearl Bailey died at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital in Philadelphia on August 17, 1990. Following an autopsy, Drive Emanuel Rubin, professor and chairman of the Department of Pathology at Jefferson Medical College, announced the cause of death as arteriosclerosis, with significant narrowing of the coronary artery. Bailey is buried at Rolling Green Memorial Park in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Wilson died at St. Joseph's Hospital in Yonkers, New York, in January 16, 1987, aged 79. He had suffered from Parkinson's disease for several years and suffered a severe stroke approximately 6 days earlier. Crawford died in January 29, 2009, at his home in Memphis, aged 74. The cause was complications of a stroke he had in 2000, his sister Delores said. Milton died at the age of 70 on August 4, 2005 from complications following a stroke. He was posthumously honored with a marker in the Mississippi Blues Trail in Inverness. A resident of Voorhees Township, New Jersey, McGriff died there at age 72 on May 24, 2008, due to complications of multiple sclerosis. Thompson died from Alzheimer's disease in an assisted living facility on July 30, 2005. Professor Longmire died in his sleep of a heart attack, while the filming of the documentary was underway, and before the live concert, which was planned to be its climax, footage from his funeral was included in the documentary. Hill died at the age of 62 from congestive heart failure in Clarksdale on April 16, 1996. According to his obituary in the commercial appeal, he was survived by a daughter, Kathy Mitchell, 2 sons, Craig Turner and Raymond Hill, a sister, Marion Montgomery, 2 brothers, Aubrey Hill and Charles Hill Jr., and a aunt who cared for him, Evelyn Jarrett. His son, Wictina Turner, Craig Turner, died from an apparent suicide in 2018. Brenston died of a heart attack at the VA Hospital in Memphis on December 15, 1979. Hooker died in his sleep on June 21, 2001, in Los Altos, California in his home. He is interred at the Chapel of the Chimes in Oakland, California. He was survived by 8 children, 19 grandchildren, and numerous great-grandchildren. Hopkins died of esophageal cancer in Houston on January 30, 1982, at the age of 69. His obituary in the New York Times described him as one of the great country blues singers and perhaps the greatest single influence in rock guitar players. Jefferson died in Chicago at 10 a.m. on December 19, 1929, of what his death certificate said was probably acute myocarditis. For many years, rumors circulated that a jealous lover had poisoned his coffee, but a more likely explanation is that he died of a heart attack after becoming disoriented during a snowstorm. Some left square bracket who right square bracket have said that he died of a heart attack after being attacked by a dog in the middle of the night. In his 1983 book Talbert's Texas, Frank X. Talbert claims that he was killed while being robbed of a large royalty payment by a guide escorting him to Chicago Union Station to catch a train home to Texas. Paramount Records paid for the return of his body to Texas by train, accompanied by the pianist William Isle. Isle died in Chicago in 1963 in Chicago, at the age of 70. His death was not reported in any newspaper obituaries. Ramson died of congestive heart failure on August 23, 1995. He was burial. The autopsy pointers from a hospital at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 78. James died of pancreatic cancer at the age of 75, at JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey on December 26, 2008. His remains were cremated, and the ashes scattered from autopsy from the New York City. Bernhard Screen died of a heart attack in his sleep on November 21, 2013. English actor Ed Skreens reviewing from was burial of Skreens' death of heart disease in London, England at the age of 87. Manthis died in his sleep from heart failure in February 29, 2004 in the leap year's day at the age of 94, at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. Robinson died in his sleep from heart attack at the age of 68. At San Francisco Chinese Hospital on September 13, 1999. Crystal died in November 18, 2003, at the JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey, age 64, due to complications of high blood disease, diabetes, prostate cancer and kidney failure. In July 6, 2013, Howie Baser died in his sleep from congestive heart failure at his home at San Francisco Chinese Hospital at the age of 93. His remains was cremated, and the ashes were scattered from the Golden Bay Central in San Francisco, California. Eddie Jones died in his sleep on November 9, 2016, at the age of 84, at the JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey. Due to complications of high blood pressure, diabetes, vascular dementia and heart failure, his remains were cremated, and the ashes were scattered in the autopsy pointers of Manhattan, New York City. Gene Braxton died of congestive heart attack in his sleep in August 12, 2000, at the age of 98. Tony Braxton reports was cremated and his ashes scattered from services at the funeral. Jimmy Thunder died at the age of 72, at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles on July 25, 2010. From complications of kidney failure, strokes, cancer diseases and respiratory disease, suffered leukemia, Thunder was cremated from autopsy pointers. In July 7, 2001, Ricky Goldberg died in his sleep from heart failure at the age of 92, at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. Simmons died at JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey on September 10, 2012, from complications of epilepsy, seizure and chronic illness at the age of 53. Joe Ashley died at the age of 87 in Los Angeles at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center on October 25, 2004, from complications of leukemia and heart failure. Joel Evans died at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles on April 19, 1994 suffered epilepsy chronic illness. Elton Rhodes Jr. died in his sleep from respiratory failure at the JFK Medical Center on July 9, 2010 in Edison, New Jersey, was autopsy cremated of ashes pointers scattering from New York. Ben Howard died at the age of 84 at Middlesex Hospital in Middlesex, Connecticut, from complications of pancreatitis, coccidioidomycosis, steroids and colectomy. Jean Solomon died at her home from congestive coccidioidomycosis at the age of 98, at the JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey, was autopsy cremated and her remains scattered of the funeral. The remaining 11 shows of his 2017 tour were cancelled because of health problems caused by complications from high blood pressure and diabetes. King Brown Jr. died in his sleep from heart failure, at the age of 95 at the JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey, where his wife had taken him when he had trouble breathing. His remains were cremated, and the ashes were scattered in the Manhattan. Rogers died of colon cancer in Chicago in 1997. He was survived by his son, Jimmy Delane, a guitarist, record producer and recording engineer for Blue Heaven Studios and A.P.O. Records. Gallon died at his home in Tampa on September 27, 2018, at the age of 76. Alvin Benson died at the age of 81, in July 23, 2013, due to complications of high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney failure and liver cancer. He was given a funeral. Gordon Bay died at the age of 93, in November 1, 1994, at the JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey. Kingston died of pancreatic cancer in April 3, 2000, at the age of 82. In Las Vegas, Nevada. Black died at the age of 91 in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles, California, due to complications of withdrawal from Xanax, sarcoidosis, acute pancreatitis and bronchitis. A New York Times obituary described him as an extraordinary guitarist ennobling the ordinary. An obituary in the Huffington Post referred to him as a character singer titan. Black ashes was held in autopsy pointers and interred into Inglewood Park Cemetery, in Inglewood, California. Remington died September 9, 2001, age 86, from complications of periambulary cancer. In March 13, 2011, Livingston died in his sleep from heart failure, at his home in Malibu, California, from cancer-related complications at the age of 90. He was served given a funeral service was held. He remained scattered in pointers. Elton Gilbert died at the age of 80 of cirrhosis of the liver on June 21, 2002, at the JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey. He was given the funeral and autopsy pointers scattered from New York. Gabriel died at the age of 83, in Los Angeles at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center on June 6, 2010. Due to complications of multiple organ failure, pneumonia, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and acute renal failure. He is interred into Inglewood Park Cemetery in Inglewood, California. The funeral service was burial from a meat shot from a family butcher's in Market of Los Angeles, California. Davidson died at the age of 80 on May 25, 1997, from complications of acute renal failure. After a 3-month battle with cancer, Collins died at his home in Las Vegas, Nevada, in November 24, 1993. He was 61 years old. Surviving him were his wife, Gwendolyn, and his father, Andy Thomas. Margie died in poverty in New York on July 14, 1973, aged 38. The official cause of her death is unknown, since no autopsy was performed in her. Most sources claim it was caused by a heroin overdose, but there are some rumors saying that she died in a car crash or from cancer. She is buried at New Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church Cemetery in Register, Georgia. Turner died without a valid will. Less than a week after his death, his former wife Audrey Madison Turner filed a petition stating that he had penned a handwritten will naming her as a beneficiary. In 2009, a judge ruled that the handwritten will was invalid and that by law Turner's children were the direct heirs of his estate. Ken Hansen died in his sleep from heart attack on March 17, 1993, age 69. He died at his home in Burbank, California. Was autopsy pointers of Western Counters. This film was presented by Tahoe Company Limited.